Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. So recently I did a video titled Samsung Display fires a kill shot in the entire repair industry with a patent on pixel patterns, where they are seeking a general exclusionary order from anybody importing any AMOLED or OLED screen into the United States. This means that regardless of whether it actually infringes on their patent, they're making the argument that it's so difficult to tell which ones do or don't infringe on their patent that just to be safe, we'd like to exclude any of them from being imported into the country, which is an obvious problem for people that run mobile phone screen repair shops that want to be able to replace screens and phones and import them. It is damaging. You have this whole thing with right to repair where they'll say, why are you forcing a company to sell you things? Why don't you just make your own parts? And then when people actually make their own parts, they want to use the power of the government to stop you from importing them into the country. Because companies pretend to be anarcho-capitalists when it suits them and statists when it suits them as well. And this is very interesting. This comes from the National Wireless Independent Dealer Association. This is a trade association for people that have mobile repair shops and also people that sell mobile phones and anything like that. It's been around for a really long time, and they have actually come out in support. They have an open letter to the Senate. It says here, today, the National Wireless Independent Dealers Association sent letters to every member of the U.S. Senate, the President and the Vice President of the United States, and the House majority and minority leaders. While we're active in advocacy work for our members in the industry overall, it takes something pretty major for us to send actual letters to over 50 of this nation's leaders. But this did it. In January, Samsung filed a Section 337 complaint with the U.S. ITC. This basically asked the U.S. government to ban all aftermarket OLED screens from coming into the country. Once more, ban all aftermarket OLED screens. Samsung claims they violate their patents. Louis Rossmann, God bless these people, they spelled my name with two N's. It's just absolutely beautiful. Anyway, say this would be a death blow to the independent repair agency. We agree. You can find a copy of the letter here or view below. This is the version we sent to President Biden. We needed to tweak it for certain members, the president versus the senator, but this is pretty much the letter everyone got. We urge everyone in the repair community to contact their Congress and Senate representatives. You can find out who they are here. And I genuinely appreciate the National Wireless Independent Dealer Association coming out in support of their members, because we have places like Farm Bureau that don't really seem like they care about their constituents when it comes to the politicians that they support or the memorandums of understanding they sign that screw over all of their constituents. And that's kind of aggravating, because it means if they're not lobbying for right to repair, now I have to do it on their behalf, and I have much less money. Again, it's a topic for another video, salty topic for another video. But anyway, back to this. Dear Mr. President, my name is Adam Wolf, and I am the current president of the National Wireless Independent Dealer Association. We are the only trade and advocacy group dedicated exclusively to the independent wireless dealer and repair shop. With over 40,000 small and medium-sized businesses in the United States, our members are the driving force behind the explosion of wireless since the late 1980s. In January 2023, Samsung filed a Section 337 complaint with the US ITC that they claim violate their patents. This could affect all aftermarket OLED panels, including those for the iPhone and future models. Samsung's claim says that it creates AMOLED displays for mobile devices, and that those displays are covered by a number of patents. However, factories in China and elsewhere are, according to Samsung, creating similar screens that infringe upon those patents, and that these screens are often imported by third-party repair businesses in the United States as a cheaper option than buying authorized parts directly from, in this case, Samsung. Samsung wants the ITC to issue orders blocking the importation of these replacement display parts at the border. It has also requested that the wholesaler companies named in the filing be ordered to stop importing, selling, or using the products in question. Samsung is asking the government to enforce a general exclusion order which would apply to everyone, including individual stores buying directly from China. This would devastate the entire repair industry by permanently blocking the import of aftermarket OLED screens and preventing their use from those who are hoping to fix phones with a much less expensive alternative. We find this filing unconscionable. We find this filing unconscionable. To be blunt, this would kill the independent repair business, and per our estimates, would put well over 75,000 Americans out of work and onto unemployment. There are over 25,000 wireless repair businesses in the United States, and with a conservative estimate of just 3 employees per business, this could be devastating to the repair industry and to hardworking citizens in Wyoming and across the country. Mr. Louis Rossmann is a recognized repair expert, who has over 1.75 million subscribers to his YouTube channel and has produced an in-depth video available here. He has said that if found in Samsung's favor, would fire a kill shot on the entire repair industry, and we agree with his assessment. The Repair Association, Repair.org, is a 501c6 trade association founded in July of 2013 to support individuals and businesses engaged in repair, reuse, and recycling of digital electronic parts and products. PIRG, Public Interest Research Group, is an advocate for the public interest. They speak out for the public and stand up to special interests on problems that affect public health, safety, and well-being. Both the Repair Association and PERG have filed a public interest statement that can be found here. In your July 2021 executive order promoting competition in the American economy, you asked federal agencies to seek ways to make it easier and cheaper to repair items you own by limiting manufacturers from barring self-repairs or third-party repairs of their products. This order, if granted, will certainly do the opposite of your wishes. We urge you to contact the US ITC and voice your opposition to this filing. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to have your staff contact me directly, and he provides his email as well as his phone number, which is really cool. Again, here you have a trade association that actually appears to be speaking up and putting their money where their mouth is in support of their constituents, which is more than can be said for certain other trade associations that we've dealt with who have thrown their constituents under a bus repeatedly. And I think this is really cool. One thing I really hope to be able to do over the next few weeks is have a particularly famous and expert patent attorney come on the channel to actually discuss this. We are in the process of working that out so that we could have somebody other than a dude that just sits in a large chair ranting into a camera talk about why this is a bad thing and how patents are not always necessarily the protection on innovation that they're claimed to be. We live in a world nowadays where you will have companies patent certain elements of the cartridge and then patent certain elements of the printer, where these are not necessary elements to actually print, just to make it more difficult and more of a pain in the ass for companies to produce aftermarket ink cartridges, so you have to buy ink cartridges from them. There's this idea that patents always encourage innovation, and sometimes, just sometimes, they don't. I want you to think about how much time Apple and Samsung have spent, how much money and time they have spent over the past decade, how many hundreds of millions have been spent suing each other back and forth over bullshit that could have actually went into something that actually innovates, that instead went to attorneys to go over this type of crap. It is what it is. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.